Today, two of the most popular recipes on my channel are going head to head. I'll be making traditional spaghetti and baked spaghetti. Meet me in the kitchen. Let's make it happen. First things first, let's get in here and prep these ingredients. If you're making baked spaghetti or traditional spaghetti, it all starts with a great sauce, and that's what we're about to make right now. All right, so getting started with our produce, we're gonna go ahead and dice up 2 onions and 2 bell peppers. We also have a ton of basil. We got some roasted garlic. All of those things are gonna really enhance the flavor of this sauce. All right, so once those onions are diced, we're gonna do the same thing with the bell pepper. Bell pepper is totally optional for those of you guys that don't like it or don't want it in your sauce. That's how I grew up eating it, and I enjoy a little bell pepper in my sauce. So that's what we're going with today. If you wanna just go onion and garlic, that's cool. I like roasted garlic for this recipe just because it adds a little extra flavor. But if you want to use fresh garlic or minced garlic, that works fine as well. Quick reminder, guys, that all the specific measurements and ingredients for this recipe can be found in the description box below, so don't forget to check that out. All right, so today the sauce is going to be the same for each recipe. So I'm basically going to make a double batch of my traditional sauce that I always make. We're going with 2 pounds of ground beef. Feel free to use whatever meat substitute you like. We're gonna heat this over medium high, get a little oil in the pan, and then we're gonna brown up the meat. I like to cook the meat before the veggies, that way you get good caramelization on the meat. And the steam that comes from the veggies will kind of like start to steam the meat, and it'll get all gray. We want some nice caramelized pieces for texture and color. So medium high heat, I like to press it down so it's making good surface area contact with that skillet. That's gonna give us that Maillard reaction, which basically is, you know, the caramelization, the searing process. Just kind of flatten it out a bit. Now, as the meat is cooking, I like to use my spatula to kind of begin breaking it up a little bit. You can use a potato masher or something like that to do this as well. Just make sure you break it up nice and small. It'll break up during the cooking process anyway. We're gonna go ahead and begin seasoning this. So I'm going down with my all-purpose seasoning. You could also use a blend of salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, things like that. Or if you wanna keep it real simple, just salt and pepper. We're also gonna add a little Italian seasoning. We got some fresh herbs going in here as well. Some red pepper flakes, just for a little heat. Totally optional, guys, just a pinch. And then once that meat gets nice and brown and seared, we're gonna go ahead and give it a good mix, season it a little bit more, and then get those vegetables in there. All right, so once we have our 2 pounds of ground beef with a little bit of a head start, we're going in with 2 onions and 2 bell peppers. Again, guys, this is double the recipe for my traditional sauce. If you're choosing one or the other to make today, just use half of this recipe. Unless you want extra sauce, this stuff freezes really good, so not a bad idea to go ahead and make the whole thing. Let's give that a good mix. We'll let those veggies sweat down a bit. We're also gonna go ahead and add in our roasted garlic. Continue to season, get a little tomato paste in there, and then deglaze with some red wine. That roasted garlic's nice and soft. It's gonna cook down right into the sauce beautifully. Now, next up, we're gonna go in with a little bit of Italian herb paste. This is a product you can find at most grocery stores in the produce section. A good 2 tablespoons of that. And then we're also gonna add about 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. Give that a good mix, allow everything to kind of come together. Your house will be smelling amazing from that roasted garlic, the onions, the peppers. In my opinion, pasta sauce like this is something that you don't wanna rush. You wanna kind of take your time with it, really allow those flavors to build. That's really where the magic's at. I got the skillet smoking hot right now. That's because when that wine hits the bottom, I want to release all of the fond off the bottom of the pot. A good ½ cup of red wine going in, and a full cup for the chef. So once you add the red wine, you want to allow this to cook off for a bit. So we're going to bring that to a rapid boil. 2 to 3 minutes, all the alcohol will cook off, leaving behind the delicious flavor. And that's when we'll start adding in our tomato products. All right, so far we haven't introduced much salt to this other than what's in the all-purpose seasoning. Right now I'm gonna add some bouillon. If you have beef bouillon, that's ideal, but chicken bouillon will work as well. That's gonna add some MSG, which is a flavor enhancer, and quite a bit of sodium. So that's gonna act as our salty element along with the MSG. Gonna coat the palate nicely, have the guests want another serving. But that's what you wanna see. You really wanna cook this down, guys. That's what you want to see right there. Don't rush this step right here, because this is where all the flavor is building. All right, so right now I feel like I'm on the set of Goodfellas with this big pot of gravy, but we're making 2 batches of spaghetti today. So we're gonna go ahead and add in the basil. I like to add it whole, that way we can fish it out. We'll steal all of its flavor. And 2 bay leaves. We'll let that simmer for about an hour or 2, or as long as you got the patience for. And then let me know in the comments if you put sugar in your spaghetti sauce or not. Me personally, I'll be adding a little bit in about an hour. When I was growing up, you couldn't have spaghetti without a little garlic bread, so we're gonna go ahead and make that for both versions here. So while the sauce is simmering, I'm gonna go ahead and get some melted butter, add a little roasted garlic, some seasoning, some fresh parsley, slice a baguette, and get that in the oven. So as far as the bread goes, we're using a nice baguette today. You can slice it on a bias, make the pieces a little bit longer. You can slice it more traditionally. I like to slice mine at an angle. Serrated blade is what you want to use for bread. Then we're just going to smear on that good old garlic butter right onto our baguette, and that's going to go right into the oven so it's golden brown and beautiful. Now when I was a kid, we just did this on some Wonder Bread with a little butter and some garlic powder. But today, the resources are a little bit in better shape, thankfully, but nothing wrong with a little white bread in your spaghetti. All right, guys, we got the world's best spaghetti sauce on the back burner, simmering away to perfection. And now I'm gonna show you my cheese mixture that goes with the baked spaghetti. Think of this kind of like a ricotta layer on a lasagna, but it's a lot better. We got a ½ cup of sour cream. To that, we're gonna add 1 whole block of Boursin garlic and herb cheese. Absolute cheat code for your mashed potatoes, your charcuterie board, and for your baked spaghetti. Loaded with flavor. A little bit on the pricey side. Sometimes you can catch it on sale for like $5. If you do, stock up on it. But that whole block's going in. We're gonna add a whole head of roasted garlic as well. Next up, we're going in with about a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. You use the fresh stuff or store-bought if you're feeling a little lazy like me today. Don't judge me. 1 cup of that going in. Some fresh chopped parsley. A little bouillon, some AP seasoning or salt and pepper, and some Italian seasoning. Last but not least, we're gonna add about 6 to 8 ounces of shredded mozzarella cheese. It's gonna add a nice cheesy element to the middle of your baked spaghetti. Give you that nice cheese pull when you go to present this for your house guests. They'll be all impressed, unless they're lactose intolerant. So now we're just gonna get in there with our spatula and fold everything together. All right, so what you want to see is like a ricotta consistency. It's kind of what we made with the Boursin and the sour cream blend. In my opinion, don't hate me for this, way better tasting than store-bought ricotta cheese. That may be controversial, but so is a lot of stuff that I say, so sue me. This is gonna go right in between the layers of spaghetti, go in the oven, it's gonna bake beautifully. All right, guys, all the ingredients are ready. The oven is preheated at 350 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and prep our casserole dish. To do that, we're gonna add a little bit of sauce to the bottom, so nothing sticks. This is how grandma used to do it, so I'm not asking no questions. Nice thin layer at the bottom. And then we're gonna toss our noodles in the sauce and begin building our baked spaghetti dish. All right, guys, so at this point it's just a pasta bake, same as baked ziti, lasagna, anything like that. We're gonna go ahead and layer our noodles with the cheese mixture that we made, a little bit of extra cheese, a little bit of extra sauce, and it's gonna be delicious. Let me know in the comments if you ever had baked spaghetti. Let me know if you like baked spaghetti or traditional better. We're gonna find out today which one is the best. So just a nice light layer of sauce in the middle. Got sauce on the bottom too, so it'll be plenty saucy. You'll be plenty saucy too if you drink as many glasses of wine as I did in the making of this video. All right, next up, that fantastic cheese mixture. Just gonna dollop that on there, kind of spread it relatively thin. Doesn't have to be perfect, guys. It's gonna melt down. So if you can't get a nice even layer, it's not a big deal. Then we're coming with another layer of noodles. All right, so once everything is layered in there beautifully, like you see right here, we're gonna top it with a little cheese. Now, my Italians in the comments are gonna lose their mind when they see this cheddar, but that's how I used to do it when I was coming up. I like the color, and cheddar tastes good. I don't care what you say. We got mozzarella in there as well for a little bit more authenticity. You hit it with some Parmesan cheese if you want to as well. But Either way, you can't go wrong. Just top it with a little cheese in the oven at 350 for about 30 to 40 minutes, or until the top is golden brown, beautiful and bubbly. And this is the part where I say, brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. The only thing left to do is get in here for a taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, guys, so with the traditional version of spaghetti, you got two options. You can either mix the sauce together or plate the sauce on top of the pasta. That's how my wife likes it. I like mine mixed together. We went with a combination of the two here for presentation. Let me know in the comments what you prefer. One other pro tip, you wanna let your baked spaghetti rest for about 10 minutes before you dig in. Speaking of digging in, it's time. Let me know in the comments which version you think is the best. This baked spaghetti looks tough to beat. It also looks piping hot. Just the layer, that cheese layer really brings it home for me. But going with Old Faithful, traditional, it's been around forever for a reason. Let's see what we got. It's tough. It's a draw. It's a draw. I don't know what else to say. Gotta get the cameraman's opinion. Y'all the tiebreaker. I gotta get in there and try it. I know you ain't got to cut, but. Hey.
Wizard Kelly, y'all.
I know you ain't got to cut.
Hey, blame me out though.
Get in there and try it now.
Where my head at?
Here, grab a make it happen joint. And action. That's a big bite, my brother.
That's a real big bite.
Hey, okay. Bleep this one out.
Hold on, let me get out this. This is a long time.
Parental advisor.
Oh man, that's tough.
That's tough.
Come on, bake.
On bake?
Bake.
I can see why somebody would go traditional though.
I got much of it.
The sauce is
I love the
singing
cheese.
more right
Yeah,
here.
it's more flavor dynamic in this one.